We are recording.
All right, guys, we are recording. So happy Wednesday. Happy 2021. I almost
2021.
said 2020, and I am not saying that date again.
Hey, but guess what? We got some great news about
Yes.
2020. It was our best year in Cincy and probably your guys' best year ever. So bring
Yeah.
on another 2020, right? No, I'm just kidding. But still, 2020 numbers.
No. All right. So you guys did amazing though. In other news, our group, this is the best. Last year was the best year you guys have ever had, the best growth you guys have ever had, the best sales you guys have ever had. It is insane. So we're gonna take the first 10 minutes just to do some shout outs.
Yes.
I'm going to let Justin start with just our group sales from last month.
Yeah. So group sales for December, like I said, year over year, we're up. So this was our highest December we've ever had. So we did $2,922,809 as a group for Anchored Scents. So that's crazy. That basically means up until the 15th, because that's when we cut off pretty much orders to be in time for Christmas. So that's halfway through the month. You almost did $3 million. We still did well after the 15th, but a majority of that came before the 15th. So that's insane.
Yeah.
So we were on pace to almost do, like a $6 million month pretty much if we would have kept the momentum going. So it's crazy. But still, that's awesome. You guys killed it in December. So, and then Chloe mentioned it earlier before we started recording, but we did have one director promote in December. So Sonia Griffin, if you're on here, make sure you shout yourself out. Make sure everybody shouts out, Sonia, that's awesome. And so now we're going to go into shouting out some yearly stats.
Yeah. So if you guys hear any of these people's names that are on your teams or that these are stats for the entire year.
And just to put it into perspective, we started since we're doing the year results, I just want to say this. We started the year at 4,914 group. Like that was our group number, 4,914. We ended in December at 12,344 people. So we grew from 4,914 to 12,344. It's crazy. We weren't expecting it, obviously. We had to make a lot of changes this year with the way we do our business. And you guys have been seeing that with the new systems and the way we're doing things now. So it's crazy.
And we are going to make a graphic group wide. So you can have that if you want to share that with even honestly, potential recruits or just share with your team. Just so they can see, look at how big the growth was in Cincy in general last year and specifically within our community. I just think that's a really, numbers don't lie, and I think that's huge. So we are going to make some images for that.
We definitely will. And then, it just goes to show too, that if you guys are having problem with recruiting or anything right now, I will say this. Right now is the time where people are searching for a way for them to make, it's popular right now to have multiple streams of income.
Making money.
Can be that multiple stream of income and change somebody's lives too. So I think 2021 is going to be a big year for that. So out of 12,344 consultants, we're going to recognize the top 20 for the whole year in each of these categories.
And then we're going to do the sales after that?
After that, we're going to end it with that because you said you were going to give a prize to whoever.
Yes, I'm going to check on Anchored In and I'm going to see after this call.
But so this is the top 20. We're going to do top 20 for the whole year in PRV. And this is cumulative. So from January to December, we're going to do the top 20 in PRV, TWV, and then top recruits for the year. We're going to go through those just because that's going to, and these
and top active frontline. You didn't read the last
whatever
one.
It ends, but active frontline, like I said, just shows what we ended in December at active frontline. They don't do cumulative active frontline.
Oh,
it's just the end of the year. Yeah. So this is just that.
Just go ahead.
So let's go ahead and we'll do the top 20 PRV, and we're going to start at number 20. So number 20, Sarah Godwin.
Woo-woo.
Number 19, Genevieve Gardner.
I literally love your name.
Number 18, Maggie Petria.
Woo-woo.
Petrie, Maggie Petrie.
He disrespecting you like that, Maggie.
Number 17, Whitney Hebel. Number 16, Courtney Reyes. Number 15, Melanie McCourt. Number 14, Kayla Baker, sorry. Number 13, Susanna Fowler. Number 12, Brittany Ottaway. Number 11, Stacy Bass Edwards. Number 10, Sarah Davids. Number 9, Chastity Robinson. Number 8, Ray. Number 7, Sarah McNur.
Nicole
McNur, sorry. That's workstation fault, not mine. Number 6, Jennifer Brandt. Number 5, Caitlin Foster. Number 4, Laura Williams. Number 3, Tori Farrell. Number 2, Katie Lassiter, and number 1, Chloe. And
but it was close.
But it was very close.
So it came really
down
close
to the end. So that's awesome. All right, now TWV. This is your team wholesale volume. So basically, this just shows the strength of your team for the entire year. So number 20, Amber Willoughby or Amber Ryan. Number 19, Casey Bowick. Number 18, Melissa Gay. Number 17, Rachel Wyatt. Number 16, Jamie Gowers. Number 15, Kayla Baker. Number 14, Whitney Hebel. Number 13, Caitlin Foster. Number 12, Nicole McNur. Number 11, Queena Tillman. Number 10, Jennifer Brandt. Number 9, Faith Siampa. Number 8, Crystal Klingman. Number 7, Sarah Godwin. Number 6, Stacy Bass Edwards. Number 5, Ray Ray. Number 4, Melanie McCourt. Number 3, Katie Lassiter. Number 2, Chastity Robinson. And number 1, Chloe and Justin.
Who's coming after us this year? Who's going to beat us? I'm ready. And for PRV. Let's go. Let's go. All right.
Now, top recruits for the year.
I want to read this one.
You go ahead.
I am really excited to read this one because there are so many new names on this list for top recruits for the entire year. So top sponsors for the entire year. So number 20 was Ray Ray. 19 was me. 18 was Nicole Blair. 17, Bethany Whitley. 16, Stephanie Pacheco. 15, Kylie Huffman. 14, Katie Lassiter. What was I on? 13. Melanie McCourt. 12, Stephanie Owens. 11, Blair Whitehead. 10, Chastity Robinson. 9, Courtney Stewart. 8 is Faith. 7 is Frida Robles Jimenez. I know I'm really, really bad at that, and I apologize. 6, India Creel. 5, Jennifer Brandt. 4, Genevieve Gardner. 3, Caitlin Foster. 2, Kimberly Nation. And number 1 sponsor for 2020 was April Coleman.
Who also has already hit Annual Mentor. April Coleman did hit Annual Mentor. We shouted her out.
I see our leaders clapping. Y'all, we know how hard it is to recruit. Y'all, I was number 19. It was rough last year, man, out there. You know what I'm saying? It was rough. So we're just so proud of you guys. So we're going to tell you our group sales for the year.
Well, let's first talk about this. So promotions for last year. We promoted 163 directors last year.
Y'all did that.
We promoted 31 star directors and we promoted 4 superstar directors.
4 superstar directors.
So within Anchored Sense, we now have 7 superstar directors. So the resources are out there, guys, as far as to help you grow, and with the star directors and directors too. So this is great for anybody who's a lead and above. This is a testimony that whatever you guys are doing is working.
You can do it. Yeah. So, yeah. Amazing. And
do you want to go over to group sales?
Yeah. So the group sales for last year. So a lot of you guys guessed it was $34,379,099. Insane, right? I see Heather out there.
34 million.
I remember just when it was like, I can't believe I sold $200 in Cincy myself. And so to see this group, you guys are just, I can't keep up with you guys. And it's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. So congratulations, you guys. 34 million our group did. 34 million. There are corporations that don't even sell that much. Okay. That's insane. So yeah, let's get right into the content. I'm really, really excited about this. We are going to be talking about activating your dreams. We have the chat box over here. Ask us any questions you have throughout the training. I'll try and look while Justin's talking and vice versa to see what questions we can answer for you.
I'm just happy we don't have to click the waiting room thing right
Yes. Boss is,
Yeah. Don't say that, Alan. We're on YouTube. Yeah. Don't say that.
Yep. Okay. So never mind. Okay. So anyways, we will be doing the meetings the same way all year. Okay. And you will have the same codes and things like that to get in. So we are going to talk about, activating your dreams and making an action plan. So the past 2 weeks, we had our SSDs come and do that dream event where they came on and we helped you guys learn how to dream and set goals and like get your mindset straight and all that. And I know a lot of you guys did that. If any of y'all watched that, drop me some hands or comment or something. And if you didn't watch that, I want to encourage you to go back and just listen to the lives while you're in the shower. I know it sounds weird. Sometimes I do when I'm in the shower.
They make waterproof speakers.
Yeah, well, you can put them up. I mean, the acoustics are great in the shower. I know some of y'all listen to trainings in the shower. But just, encourage your teams to step back and dream if they didn't listen to those. Like the testimonies from our SSDs is incredible. And so jumping now into taking those dreams and putting them into action. Do you want to go ahead and start with that? You
want to start it, or do you want me to start?
It doesn't matter. I did the whole outline. I was real proud of myself.
Yeah, you start it off.
So, I really wanted you guys to think about, so I have this quote, and these notes are on.
That's your quote. That's good.
Yeah, these notes are on Anchored In. We're going to make sure we post the notes for you guys 2 days before every monthly training we do, because I think that'll be good for y'all to be prepared. But the dream starts the journey. Activation makes it happen. And so now we have to take that piece of, okay, we are dreaming. We are being as fearless, I guess, as we've ever been in our business this year. I was trying to use that in the right context, but we're being brave this year. A lot of you guys are setting amazing dreams, but now you have to figure out how you're going to activate them. What are you going to do? What movements are you going to make in your business every day that's not going to make you freeze up and just want to peace out, right? So we want to help you activate an action plan and make one. So I'm really big on definitions whenever I break trainings down. So I have just the definition of activate. If you're taking notes, or if you have these, it's already on there. So to make something active or operative, your business has to operate. Me and Justin talk about this all the time. You can have a great idea. You can have a great design. You can have great branding. You can have all the money in the world. You can have the best office ever. But if you don't activate that dream or that business or that opportunity, it's just going to sit there, right? So activate is exactly what it is. It's what you do to operate something. And then I put just some notes. Operative equals operations equals success in any business or goal, right? Everything needs to have an operation. Justin, in the businesses he does, that's what he does, is he shows businesses how to operate without doing things in ridiculous ways. And a lot of us have been doing things in ridiculous ways, not because like we suck at Cincy or we suck as a leader, but because we really didn't know. We didn't have anybody showing us a roadmap, and everybody leads in different ways. Like the fact that people think truthfully that leaders have to do things the same way, it blows my mind. Like that's not what leaders are made to do. We're all meant to do things in different ways. And we want to help you guys figure out your way this year, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So synonyms are words that are like activate, to operate, to switch on, to turn on, to start off, to start up, to trigger, to trip, to set in motion, to accutate, to initiate. So it's a strong word. If you don't have a word, I highly recommend this one for the year, but it's like, let's move, let's act, let's actually like turn the car on. We got the gas in there, let's go. So we have broken down 3 simple ways. I'm all about 3 ways this year.
That's what 3 is your number.
Our pastor at church
Steady's your word, 3 is your number.
Our pastor at church always has 3 talking points. Most pastors do, and I don't get bored after that. So I'm like, I think this will work for us. So the first concept we're going to talk about to activate your dreams is mindset. And I'm going to let Justin go into that.
Yeah. So this is something that we actually heard at our church, and we always hear it. And it was something from one of our late pastors that actually said this. And it's what can be, won't be if you don't let go of what could have been. That's a mouthful, so I'll say it again, but it's what can be, won't be if you don't let go of what could have been. So I honestly think, when you think about mindset, we talked about mini habits a little bit ago and about the willpower and everything like that too. And I'm actually doing a masterclass right now on leadership and the mindset of a leader and the way leaders think. The name of the book that's coming out is literally Think Like a Leader. And it's going over through a mindset of a leader and the way leaders are thinking. And so when you're thinking of a way to activate your dreams, it first starts with a dream, and you have to be real with yourself and make sure that it's your dream that you want and not something else that somebody's pushing on you.
Yes.
And so the mindset that you have to have is, do you really want this, and what's it going to take to get there? And like I said, if it's something that a dream and a goal, if it's something that is truly yours, it makes you get out of bed in the morning. It gives you the energy. It gives you the willpower. It gives you everything that you want to do to try to attain it. But what I will say is it doesn't need to be something that you know that is 1,000 steps away from you. You have to take small steps to get there, but it's all about the mindset of having it. So mindset action for PRV.
So we've broken it down. So we have for each part we're going to talk about, we have an action step for PRV, sponsoring, and leading.
And which is great because I saw on a page somewhere today, I forgot what page it was, but
we have a lot of them, don't we?
It was she used to cheer with you on
okay, I don't know. Are you talking about a person?
Yeah, a person put something on one of our pages, and it was about just a post about IPAs. Is there a simple, just small thing?
Oh, Liza Howe.
Yeah, it says something about IPAs.
I'm going to make an IPA list for you guys and put it on Anchor.
But this is like a mindset, like a thing for it. So this is something to where you're thinking about when you're simplifying things in the mindset. So 3 ways for you to be successful as a consultant is always going to be PRV, sponsoring, and leading. Those are the 3 ways that you're a successful Cincy consultant right there, breaking it down very simple. It's 3. Chloe loves 3. So that's the 3 ways you can do it. So a mindset that you can have it for PRV will start there.
Yeah. So I just have examples. I'm visual and also like, I don't know, like this is the way I learn, is by examples and seeing things. So I wanted you guys to hear the way my brain works in a mindset setting. So an example of an action step for PRV or a mindset for PRV. Okay. Example, I will no longer focus on parties as they do not work for me. Okay. So I'm not going to do parties anymore in the way I used to do them because they don't work for me. We're going to talk about the action step, to that, but a lot of us are focused on the same thing. And so I have on here, just stop the merry-go-round. A lot of us are doing the same thing over and over. And I know it's scary. I used to do bag parties all the time, guys. I stopped them in 2020. That was scary for me. That was scary for me to go out on a limb and be really one of the first ones in Cincy to really go 100 on Cincy Club last year and make a training on my own. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I made this crazy Cincy Club thing to keep up with your samples. I know some of y'all remember that, but I'm saying this because I had to do something different because I could not continue with the growth and serving y'all and in having parties with my customers. I had to have a way to generate PRV automatically. Does that make sense? So I'm telling you that because when you change your mindset and you just stop feeling like a failure for what's not working, then you can step into what could work. What can be won't be if you don't let go of what could have been, right? And then same for sponsoring. So a mindset action for sponsoring. Example, I will no longer say I cannot sponsor. I will change my approach on how I live the lifestyle of sponsoring, because sponsoring isn't about a number and it's not about I'm going to do 2 a month to earn annual mentor, right? There's a deeper root to sponsoring. You are changing someone's life. It's a lifestyle.
And I'll say on that too, that's in any direct sales, any MLM company, that is the one struggle that everybody talks about is sponsoring. And my thing with Cincy is if you're passionate enough about the product and you're sharing it consistently and you are doing the things and in your mind, you're like, man, and you're passionate about, I'm not sharing this because I know that it's going to change somebody's life the way it could change mine. That's the way your mindset needs to be, is not I'm a salesperson. And if your mindset when you talk to somebody automatically goes to, oh, I'm being annoying, or this person's going to stop talking to me because I'm going to ask them to join Cincy, then that's not the way your mind needs to think about the situation. And that's something that you have to self-assess and get in there. It's not about what it's doing for you or how you feel. You're doing a disservice if you don't sell it. And I used to say that all the time to whenever I was in a sales role. I'm like, you can't make assumptions that somebody's not going to want a product or a service based on your assumptions, because at the end of the day, you could give this opportunity to them and it could change their lives. It could realign their stars. It could help them dream again. So just when you're thinking of that in the mindset, get it out of your mind that you're just this annoying Cincy person, because I know that's the stigma that some people may get. You're not.
Well, this is what you're doing. And now the incentive, we don't, the incentive period just ended. So now what? If your goal was to sponsor just because you wanted to certify and get people to lead and get them to start to get these points, well, now the trip's over. So now what? What's your route? Like what's your motivator? What's the willpower? Where is it? And that's a good example of that.
For sure. And like I said, willpower is always way better than motivation. If you have to get motivated to work this business, then you have to rebuild your foundation. You have to have the willpower in order to do it. If you have to have somebody tell you to do it, and don't get me wrong, motivation is good, but you have to have the mindset and the willpower to be able to get up and work this business and recruit.
And the willpower too, if you're not good at recruiting, your willpower is you're going to get better. How do you get better? You're a self-learner. You go on the internet and I would watch, and this was back 6-7 years ago when YouTube was a mess with people giving trainings on there for me to find for Cincy. And I would just soak in everything I could because my will drove me to figure out my answer until I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how you have to think too.
Exactly. And like I said, don't think that you're this annoying Cincy person for sharing the opportunity. I promise you.
I do not care. They do not pay your bills, y'all. Yeah. You already know.
I just wanted to put that out there because I've had so many people in the past that I've coached and that I've mentored outside of direct
real
sales.
Soon they're going to be wishing and wanting to be in this kind of position. So just
and not everybody sells Cincy. I'm telling you, you see a lot of people selling Cincy because you follow everybody that sells Cincy, and everybody that sells Cincy follows you. Grow your network.
Yeah, so true. So, and then sponsoring isn't about you. And then the mindset action for leading. Example, I am sufficient and capable of leading. A lot of us feel very insufficient and we tell ourselves, I can't do it. And I totally understand. I mean, me and Justin still have these conversations. A big one last year was coaching. I felt insufficient because I felt like I needed to do it the same way, or you know what I mean? And then I talked myself out of even being a good leader. You know what I mean? And those are the things that we do. So I'm a leader because everyone has the ability to influence the world around them in a positive way. Every single person in the world has influence over something. You guys are leaders. So just a mindset is different than like making a goal. And that's why I wanted to break that down.
And the good thing too, I'll say this too, leadership is probably my biggest passion out of everything is leadership.
Oh yeah.
That's my biggest passion. I talk to a bunch of, and this is not a shout out for what I do, but this is just my passion. I talk to business owners all the time about what they do in their businesses and how they lead. And the one thing that I think people get confused about leadership is, you know, they may feel inadequate as a leader, but break it down. The definition, like Chloe loves to do, breaking down definition, the definition of leadership in its plain, simple form. You want to know what it is? Influence. You have influence on somebody. So if you have a friend, you're a leader. You're a leader. So just think about it this way: you don't have a huge, you have influence. You are a leader.
You're an uncle.
So if you don't think that you're adequate to be a leader, then you're telling yourself a lie, because you lead in some way, shape, or form every day. I don't care what it is. You are a leader. Anything that you have influence over, you are leading. So it's time to get out of that mindset, and it's time to get in the mindset of, I have something, at least one thing that I can serve to somebody or that I can say. And this is different than an organization. You got to think this is your own business. So the way you lead is you share the tools and resources that got you to where you are to get them to where they need to go.
Yep.
It's not about keeping things to yourself. Why do you think that we created the How I'm Working page? That's something that when you think about a mindset action, we didn't have to do that, but we just got tired of, you know, we just wanted to make these resources available to you. And that's the number one currency for a leader is resources. I don't know if you know that, but the way you grow anything is through resources.
That's why y'all notice if I ever see y'all do something or share something and I know it's beneficial on Anchored In, yeah, you're right. I'm going to tell you to put that there because it's not about me copying it. I don't need to. It's about the other 1,000 people on that page that need to see that resource, and it could change their freaking business.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's so get in the mindset of when you
serving people that have nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
Serving people that aren't in your downline.
Yeah. We've done that all the time for the longest time for people who have been in our group that are not even a group. I mean, that's just something that you do because at the end of the day, you know, it comes back. Investment. That's one thing. And something that I
invest in people.
Yeah. So that's your biggest currency. Time and people is what is good for a leader, because as a leader, your time is your biggest, you know, your value. And you guys got to stop spending. There's a difference between spending and investing. And one thing I'll tell you as leaders, you've got to invest more than you spend. When you spend, you're trading goods for something. When you invest and expect it to come back. And that's not selfish. That's something that you want. So you got to get in that mindset of, I'm not going to spend time. I'm going to invest my time. That's a mindset shift for a leader. I'm not going to spend. I'm going to invest. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to invest. That's something that you have to get into as a leader right now. So in anything that you're thinking of whenever you're recruiting, or, you know, I'm spending my time on this person, or I'm investing my time in this person because I know it's going to come back to me, and then they're going to invest in somebody. It's going to trickle down, and then I can break it off and share those resources.
Or yeah, the way I think about it as a leader, because we're the ones, Justin's looking from the outside in as far as the actual coaching goes and things like that. But when you invest in those people, it's like, it's not even about what'll come back to you. That's never the mindset. It never needs to be like, I'm going to invest in them so they promote to certified. Wrong. You're going to invest in them because you know that you can help them be a better human. You're going to invest in them because you don't want them to do maybe their business the way you did it. You want them to do it better. We got to get in that position to how can I help them do it better,
way better. And look, that's the thing.
How can I help these people do it better?
For
that's
sure.
what it's about.
And in a mindset, if you don't follow Jesus, or if you don't, but he's the best leader. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or if you're not. You go back and look at the way he led it and the group of people that he gathered and how he did it. And it's all factual information. He invested. He never spent. He invested in one person, showed him one time, then went on to the next and kept gathering in crowds and stepped away and did what he did and, grew. He grew more after he died because of the investment that he made in it. And he never wanted anything in return except for people just to know the truth. And so when you're thinking of a leader in that mindset, just think that resources is your biggest currency. Your resources as a leader within Cincy is time and investing that time into people to grow.
Yeah, that's good. So step 2. Let's talk about action steps that you guys can do.
So number 1 was mindset in order to activate your dreams. Now number 2 is action.
And you guys know about Many Habits. Justin recommended that book. Has anybody read it on here? Y'all comment, let people know if it was a good read. I thought it was incredible. I read the Cliff Note version because I'm not a good reader.
But the Cliff Note version had everything in there.
But this is kind of what we're going to talk about with the action steps, because Many Habits, we believe, are going to help you get to where you want to go with less burnout, with less stress, less anxiety. So as you grow into the leader that you are, that you don't know you are yet, it'll help prevent that burnout.
This is good IPA stuff right here too. Many Habits is a great way.
And I am going to make, though, a very detailed IPA list for you guys as well as to what I do for everything. But Many Habits need to align with your mind, body, and soul. And I say that, I know that can sound kind of weird, but when it comes to what habits you're doing every day, it's not just about Cincy. Okay. It's what you do when you get up first thing in the morning. Are you looking at your phone, or are you getting up to take a second to breathe, get your water, brush your teeth? Just taking care of yourself, your health. What do you do to relieve stress? That's not bad for you. You know what I mean? Like those kinds of habits, and then tying that into your business. If the habit isn't genuine and real, it won't last long. Amen. And I just wrote that on my own. That just came out of my brain, I guess. But I just feel like too, we have to come out of this place of obviously being authentic, or having authenticity, being authentic. This is the year, guys. This is the year. If people don't like the way you are, they don't like that you're real, they're not your people. Okay. And it's fine. So we want to create lifelong actions that not only impact our businesses, but our lives. Me and Justin aren't just investing in you guys for Cincy. We are investing into you guys for your future lives, for whatever you want to dream past Cincy, for your deep dreams, the reason you're doing Cincy. That's our investment. So action steps for PRV.
Yeah. So here's some examples. I will no longer focus on party as they do not work for me. I will stop calling myself a failure and stop that PRV action that isn't working. I will focus on Cincy Club, individual party links, and serving my customers well in 2021.
And that's literally my action step for this year. So that's my action step for PRV. And, and in doing that, just to give you guys an example, today I set up a new little, what was it?
We did a Google form.
I did a Google form for personal party links. I made an image for that, made a QR code. That's a part of my whole follow-up system now for my customers, because I'm focusing on those personal party links this year. In addition with the Cincy Club, I already have in serving them well. Okay. Very specific. It worked for me last year. You know what I mean? And it did well. So,
and then look, here's another action step that you can start playing, that you can start doing too. And this is a good IPA for anybody who's interested. If you are not real quick, and this is just something to me, you can't sell a product that you're not using. So an action step for, if you are wanting to increase your Cincy Club, you want to know what an action step is. The Cincy Club box coming on your door, and you're recording it, putting it in your story, and you opening your box saying, I get this every month. Don't you want to do the same thing?
Yeah. Sharing
it. And look, that's the thing right there. That is an action step. That is the activity of doing an IPA, is always sharing it. That's the IPA you should do every day in a Many Habit. Share the product one time a day. One time, I don't care what product it is. It could be you taking a bath, using the soap. You can do a different product every day just to go ahead and get through the catalog.
And we're going to talk about that in depth and consistency, because we're not on consistency
So,
yet.
but that's just an idea.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, guys, it's so simple, right? We're overcomplicating it. It can be so simple. If you went in my story right now, you would see my whole life. My whole life is not just Scentsy, but it is incorporated.
We are a reality TV show over here.
This is my life. You know what I mean? This is what it is. But people want to see that too. So don't think, you know what I mean? Don't think that they want to see it. And honestly, for me, it's just practice. If I have to talk to myself, I'll talk to myself to show a product. You know what I mean? Like,
role play is always great.
For me, it's all about that consistency. So action step for sponsoring. Okay. So let's talk about taking that action step for sponsoring. You're not sponsoring. You didn't sponsor well last year, or you were down in sponsoring, or you just didn't sponsor at all. And you've been stuck at lead consultant for 13 months. Okay. Example, I will take the action and mini habit of talking to one person a day in some way about joining. Now that could be through your story, that could be in a customer follow-up, that could be, you know what I mean, to your aunt. Like, there are many ways you can share a conversation, by the way. So let's not underestimate one a day. That's literally what I live by. I will talk to one person a day in some way about joining Scentsy. Why? Because it's a blessing. I will sponsor 2 people a month by having 8 parties a month and flipping 2 of them. Specific smart action goals. Smart action goals, right? Because when you hear the consistency, you're going to hear why I need to sponsor that many people a month, because I'm an annual mentor. Okay. And then last, action steps for leading. Example, because I'm going to let you do consistency. So I'm going to do this one. Action steps for leading. An example of that, I will have consistent monthly meetings with my team. This is huge. This is why we do this every month. You don't think it's a big deal. You don't think people are showing up, but we've been doing this 8 years, and I'm telling you, they are showing up. Show up for the one. Mm-hmm. We started meetings with one person.
Yep.
One person. I will go to events. Guys, whether it's a virtual thing, especially for World Tour, do it virtually with some of your Scentsy people. Come here, go to your SSDs thing if they're doing something, your directors, your star consultants. Involve yourself. Even with everything going on with COVID, if you don't feel comfortable going out, involve yourself visually. Do something virtually. Do something. Be involved. Don't separate yourself and isolate yourself in this business. All of our leaders can tell you it's an easy road to go down, and you don't want to go down that road. So be brave this year. Go to events, get involved in the meetings your leaders are doing, and do some yourself. And then last thing I said on here is I will encourage and lead my team out of how I work, not what I say.
Boom.
I don't think we need to say anything else about that. All right. Consistency, the last point.
The last point. So the definition of consistency is conformity in the application of something, typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness.
Yeah, that's just the definition, because.
But it's still good to know what it comes from. So, I mean, consistency is honestly just doing the same thing.
And accuracy. It literally says, if accuracy is beside consistency, I'm about that life. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the goal in life, is to get accurate at things that you want to get better at.
Yeah, for sure. So consistent action for PRV. This will help me get to 2,500 in sales a month, which is 30,000 a year, which will also help me earn annual
sales. 20. It was supposed to say annual sales. Oops, sorry, I knew he wasn't going to think about that. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, this will help me get to 2,500 in sales a month. Okay. If I consistently am doing the action in PRV as how I'm going to party this year. Right? So by the way, we want you to make your own action plan using this. Yeah. We want you to take out all of our stuff, and we want you to make your own.
Because this is taking the dream that you want, and you're breaking it down, your mindset, your action, and then how you're going to do it.
So this is going to be a tool for you guys. But 2,500 in sales, it's going to get me annual sales. If I do that a month, do the math, right? So it is this SMART goal, but it's kind of taking it apart, so it's not so scary.
Yeah. And then by sponsoring 2 people a month, I will have 24 frontline by December. And if 14 of those 24 certify, I will earn the annual mentor award and grow our team.
See, and that's literally my goal. Literally for this year, 2 a month, 14 to certify, baby, annual mentor. I break down my goals just like you guys. And then
consistent action for leading. This is for us. You know, like I said, this is how we're doing our dreams and goals, by leading from the front and working hard, and by setting the example, by staying consistent in monthly team meetings, connections, and by leading out of love.
Yeah. So that is.
And then I'll read this at the bottom right here. And then we'll
open it for questions.
Yeah. But what I'll say is this right here, and this is a mind thought this is a brain dump I had after we kind of did this. And so when you're thinking of leadership in general, this is just some thoughts right here, which I think are great. And you'll have this with the notes. But the best leaders, they don't control, they empower. The best leaders, they don't spend, they invest. The best leaders don't think problems, they think possibilities. The best leaders don't motivate, they inspire. Yeah. And there's a big difference between inspire and motivation.
Yeah, and we just want you guys going into 2021 just with a new way to dream. I think a lot of us, we just killed our dreams last year. Our pastor was talking about this on Sunday, actually at church, that a lot of us didn't dream last year. And I mean, I'm sure there's many of y'all on here, like you just were like, this is awful. There was a lot of stuff last year that just allowed us as people just to feel like we don't deserve to dream. We need to put it on pause for everybody else, right? For everything else going on, we're going to put ourselves on pause. We're going to put these dreams on pause. We're going to put this business on pause for very valid reasons for, all of us. But what happened is we forgot how to dream. I was talking to one of my leaders today and I was like, what's your goals? What's your dreams for this year? She's like, I really don't know. And I was like, oh no. And I think a lot of us are in that position where we kind of gave up on ourselves last year, and we're not doing that this year. We're going to dream again. We're going to accept the fact that whatever happened in our business, or even if last year was the best year ever in your business, but mentally it was the worst because you just didn't have a good foundation, accepting that fact. That was one of our things last year. Yeah. We didn't have a good foundation in our business. And that's why we restructured everything in the way we work our business now. So I just think that we have to realize that it's okay to, that it's okay not to be okay. If you've ever heard that before, but it's like, don't stay there. There's nothing down there for you, you guys. There's nothing for you on the ground. When I always talk to my leaders, I'm like, what are you fighting for at the end of the day? Why do you get out of bed? It's not for Cincy. It's for, your kids, your spouse. It's for the people you love. It's for the things that pull at your heart. That's why you get out of bed. So let's embrace that this year and let's dream big for those people we get out of bed for those things that we do wake up for. And so that's pretty much all I have. And we just love you guys. We're really excited to invest hopefully really investable content this year for y'all. Not, good content, but just investable stuff for y'all.
And I'll just say this too, a lot of times.
And if y'all have questions, y'all can type them while he's talking.
Yeah, please ask the question. Here's my theory on a lot of questions that I see, about, recruiting and people not wanting it or anything like that. And as a leader, one of the biggest lie that I've ever heard a leader say, and this is something that I've researched, is I'm just going to do it myself because I can do it better. It's the biggest lie for leadership. The biggest lie for leadership, because you're not empowering anybody and you're putting a lid on developing somebody to do something better. So when you're a leader and you're recruiting and you're looking for people, leaders don't just come to you. A lot of times people think that, a leader is just going to find me and then they're going to change my business at one person. No, at some point, some way, your resources or something is going to affect them and change them in a way. When you look at all of our SSDs that we have in here, the 7, maybe Chloe may have not had to invest time, but there were resources out there like Boss Babe Basics or all these other trainings that were laid out there that we put and invested our time in
that they
used and they grabbed onto, and it helped get them to a place. So what I want to say is this, when you're thinking of leadership, because at the end of the day, as leaders, you want to think of the highest and best use of your time is where you get the highest rate of return on investment. And when you're thinking of investment, it is developing leaders. Let's just call it what it is. PRV is still the most important thing, in my opinion, in this business, but your highest and best use of your time is investing in leaders and sponsoring and growing that front line. That is your best thing. And leaders just don't come to you. Leaders are developed. At some way, shape, and form, you have to develop somebody to become a leader. They are not just, people say born leaders. No, I was. But leaders at some way, shape, or form have to be developed in some way, shape, or form. I don't care who you are. Leaders are always continuously learning. Yeah. That is a good trait. So I just want to leave it at that too, to have that mindset of where you guys are at right now in your point. You're getting to the point right now where you have to start looking at your biggest resource as a leader is your time and where it needs to be spent the most. PRV is great, but you have tools and resources right now that you can use and build system around to automate that, because as leaders, your PRV should start becoming a lot more easier the higher you grow that customer base. And then recruiting should become easier because you have that customer base and you're sharing it. That way you can spend the most time on where you're getting the most return, which is investing in leaders.
Yep. Do y'all have any questions? I
Questions.
love that you guys are loving everything that Justin is bringing to you.
And you.
I'm trying.
That was Chloe. I picked on Chloe.
I did. I made the whole outline. See, I'm very color coordinated, so I had to do all the colors.
Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Where's it at? I got to find this. This is funny.
Anyways, what's up, Justin? Somebody asked a question. Okay, get off it. What are you doing?
It's funny. Chloe said this yesterday. The dream starts a journey. Activation makes it happy. I'm like, what podcast did you hear?
Makes it happen, not happy.
And Chloe did it. Look at that. I was like, this is awesome. And
my podcast.
She heard that, and we were like, no, you heard it on the Peloton.
Okay.
We're just
anyways.
joking.
All right.
What is the question?
Justin. Okay. So Elizabeth, what I would say, if you're feeling inadequate as a leader, it's a deeper issue. I'm not a counselor. I just go to therapy myself. It's an issue within yourself that you need to just let it go, and you need to deal with yourself, and then you'll be a better leader. But like we're women, but 99% of us, we all have issues that are rooted that cause us to feel certain ways with our business, and you got to handle that. And Justin knows with my business, I mean, I felt inadequate for years. I still do a lot of times. If something happens to me or somebody's nasty to me or sends me a nasty email, it puts me right on the floor, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this. I feel inadequate, but I have to go to that place where I'm like, Chloe, stop, calm down. You have a personal problem. You need to deal with that root. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of how I feel about those things.
How do we reach out to strangers about Cincy?
You just text them.
Just do it.
You text them. You got their phone number. You just text them.
Reach it out. And if you don't, just walk up to them and hand them a joint pack and say, hey, it looks like you need to start your own business. Here you go.
Yep. Talk and text. Talk.
It gets easier. It's uncomfortable at first, but I promise you it gets easier. The more and more you
Your mini habit needs to be to reach out to one person a day until you get customers. There's a great mini habit, right? And an action plan. Let's see. Oh, and y'all are scheduling your team meetings. I'm so proud of y'all. I'm telling you guys, start now. I started with one, and it was literally my cousin. Okay. Okay. Let's see. A lot of you guys are talking about building relationships. I tell my team this all the time, and they say, I don't want to cold message, but it's not. No, and if you're building a relationship with people too, that's why it's important, guys, to follow people on Instagram to get ideas on how we share our lives. Not so you can copy it, but so you can be brave and get just ideas, you know what I mean, on how to incorporate your business into your life. Let's see. You want to read that one? Oh, do you want me to answer that?
You're better at answering that.
What do you do when people on your team aren't doing anything? I've reached out a couple times and nothing. Stop reaching out to them. You're wasting your time. Reach out to people that are going to be investable and get new recruits. End of story.
Build that active.
I am not going to sit here and drag people to post their freaking website anymore. Amen. I'm done. Okay. If they don't want to be successful, love you, but I'm not here to babysit. You got to get in that mindset.
This is a good question right here. How would you recommend a lead consultant begin monthly calls with one person? I'll say this, iron sharpens iron. So just get on the phone with them and just talk about their businesses, share your businesses together and how you're working.
And what's coming up for the month. So let me tell you guys this may be helpful. I know some of y'all are still on here that were here when I was like new, but when we used to do our team meetings, first I did free conference call, AKA now you guys have beautiful FaceTime. Okay. Didn't have that back in the day. So you can FaceTime like Justin said. And then we evolved into a Zoom eventually, like years later, but we would talk about, number one, what's going on in the month. I would do recognition like I did tonight. I would do a little bit of that because I think that's important. And I would talk about what's going on in the month with Cincy. Okay. Just to like tell them what's going on and go over like sin of the month and just things like that you think they know, but they don't understand that. And then the biggest thing is here's tips on how I'm working.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go through the stool. And if you need a framework for your call, talk about all four things in the stool, the 3 legs and self-care, and then talk about what's going on in Cincy. I would do that, and that would be my framework for every call.
Yeah, and so to answer, was it Tina's question? Maybe
no,
whoever's it was on there. You know, if they're a lead consultant with one person, have them start maybe with voice texting. Maybe that's easier for them. Let them voice text or text that person on their team some ideas or some exciting ways they're making samples. You know what I mean? Like they just got to start. They got to just start. Let's see. Somebody said I've had to bless and release my team. Yep. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do that. You know.
And look, at the end of the day, what you're building here is a culture of people who want to change their lives.
Yeah.
So you're not building an organization. So that's the difference between what you guys are doing and, you know, somebody that's trying to start a company or anything. You're building life-changing culture that people want.
Do you want to answer the coaching call thing?
So
read the coaching call question from Tina, because
let's
that's
see.
a good one.
What are your thoughts on coaching calls? I've gotten so discouraged with. All right. So what are your thoughts on coaching calls? I've gotten so discouraged with them and felt like I wasn't being smart with my time since no one was implementing anything from the call. I've done coach the coach and AIM, but I still feel like the calls aren't working. All right, Tina. So I'll say this.
Can I say this first? First, you have to see if they're bought into you.
Yep.
This is really hard to hear, but if they don't value what you have to say, they don't give a flip about doing what you told them to do. I've had to learn this the easy way and the hard way. If they value what you have to say and they trust you, they'll listen to you even if it's a hard conversation. So first, you always look internally, and this is hard for a leader because and I'm not saying I'm not calling anything out. This is just the truth. We first look at that. Look at what your team sees when they see you as a leader. A lot of times when I retreat back or whenever I don't know how to explain this the best way, but it's like if they're bought in, they trust you, they'll listen. Then you have the other leader or the other person you're coaching. They just want to hear your voice. They want you to motivate them. They do all that. It's also our problem when we continue to feed that situation that doesn't need another coaching call. Okay. So to me, there's two different avenues that I look at internally when I coach. Coaching calls work, baby. I did them. I created them. I built many directors on them. But you also have to look at too, how are you doing them? You may want to change up how you're doing it. There's a lot of avenues, but number one, you always look internally. Don't ever look out. Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they listening? Well, what's your investment in the team? Tell me the consistency. Tell me, are they bought in? Tell me all those things. And then tell me, okay, have we coached them too much? Do we need to let it go? Do we need to have the hard conversation with them and say, look, I love you, but until you do these IPAs we went over, can't give you much more. I have the team page. I tell my people, have my monthly meetings on my team page. I have my leadership calls. Do you think the lead consultants and above that I coach that don't do anything get on my meetings? No, they don't. So we have to look at those things.
So I'll say this in regards to coaching, and obviously this is something I'm very passionate about.
Obviously, me too.
And
I love it. Y'all know I love that.
And it's something that, like I said, you invest your most time in. Coaching, and look, I always like to relate things back to sports. It just works better for me. And I'll tell you this, when I had the coach that was on my tail, mean, that I went home, hated, cried, that I thought that I would never play the sport again, that I thought I would never do this, that was tough on me. I thought that was the worst part of my life. But then having a coach that really didn't care about you and just looked at you like a number, I missed the coach that made me cry. And so I say this to say that whenever these coaching calls are thought about, whenever you're thinking about these coaching calls, you always want to think of it as I need to share this person the resources to make their business successful and a leg that they are lacking. So you have to know the information, and B, you have to know that it's something that you can share with them that they're doing wrong. Because what you're doing as a coach is the same formula that you can use for this goal. It's the A times E equals R. What you're doing is looking at the A and the E because they're not getting the results. What activities are they doing and how they are doing them? That's the effectiveness. So as a coach, you have to know how to coach that. And so the way you coach that is you can say the person, like Chloe said, oh, I'm trying to book all these parties, get these bad parties out. Nobody's doing it. You have to look at them and say, well, that activity is not working. Do this and let's talk again, through text message the next month to see how that worked. You don't have to get on the phone with these people for the 30 minutes. Like I said, it's their business. All you are is the coach and sharing the resources. And at the end of the day, you may have to have that hard conversation. And it's just like, look, this is an issue that you're having to where you're not doing the things I'm telling you. I love you, but I cannot talk about the same thing over and over again. I used to use coaching in one of my jobs as a way to fire people. Does that sound bad? But it was one of those things where it's like a 3 strikes you're out. We sit down 3 times in a row. And after that 3rd time, if you don't do what I've asked you to do, I'm sorry, but there's nothing else I can do. You're not good for the organization because you don't care and value what this company values. So we're going to have to part ways. And so it's one of those things where as a leader, you definitely can look and see if somebody has it. And it's a skill versus will thing. Will always beat skill. I hate to say it because skill sometimes will make somebody very, I don't know the nice way to say this, a narcissistic way or something. If they have the skill, they just think they can do it and don't need no help. But it's the people with the will that want to learn that are actually shown the way that will always win. And you see that thousands of times again in every hero story is always the person that had the will and not the skill or looked the part. And so that's why, I would say with coaching, you're always focusing on developing somebody's IPAs and effectiveness to get them to results. It's not a hand-holding coaching call. It is business. And that's hard to do in this because at the same day, you guys are all the same title at the beginning of the month and you're all on the same journey. So you have to look at it as a standpoint is I'm sharing the resources that helps me be successful to help you be successful, but I'm not here to talk about anything else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a hard line to draw. I'm friends with a lot of people in this group on a level, like if Cincy ended tomorrow, like we would chill forever. So I am invested heavily, and a lot of you guys are invested heavily. So men don't understand that part. That gets difficult when you have to have hard conversations with people you love. But just know, as a leader, like they need you. They need somebody to have that conversation. And if they know that you love them and if they trust you, they'll listen. And I think that trust piece is very, very important. I'm huge on trust with my team, with my leaders. So I think that's a big piece.
I think that's huge.
And I think too with coaching, we're doing it a new way this year. We're not going to tell you guys how we're doing it until I figure it out. I have some guinea pig people I've been working with on my team. I'm actually coaching one of my girls Friday this way, but it's been much more effective, and I like the flow, and it's quicker, and it's action plan based, kind of like this right here that we've been talking about. So
we're trying to create the culture. And the 2 things real quick. We're trying to create the culture, and you saw this, and a lot of people are using it now, where we created the new consultant orientation. That's a way to help people get set off right with the resources they need that they don't have. A lot of you guys are using that now. If you're not, I guarantee that'll help you because what you're doing is you're setting somebody off. Think of it, when you start a new job in any corporation, if you're there, you go through an orientation on how the culture is and what they need to know to be successful in their role. That's what you're doing. It doesn't require you getting on the phone with them for an hour. Cincy gives them the first things first checklist, and they have this orientation to get them ready to go in this. When they become a leader, we have another one. Here's the director resources thing.
Okay, and let's back up. So all of this orientation, all this has been posted on Anchored several times.
So so these are just things that it's all coaching.
Yeah, so Justin is supposed to redo the beautiful announcements. If I can have that happen in 2021, then he'll put it there. But all these things, if you search, guys, if you search on Anchored In, new recruit orientation, I posted it several times. So
those are just, but from a coaching standpoint, coaching doesn't have to be coaching call. Coaching is sharing resources to make somebody better at what they're doing.
Yep.
So if you don't like calls, share the resources that help you be successful. And by the way, somebody asked a question about IPA. No, we're not talking about beer. IPAs is income producing activities.
No, I don't. Yeah, no. Okay, any other questions? All right. Okay, so we're going to stop the recording. Hang on, which one stopped? Oh, it's messed up. Okay.